Kettlebell swings are one of the best exercises you can do, but they're also one of the easiest to get completely wrong. Done the right way, they build explosive hip power, a bulletproof lower back, and the kind of full body strength that carries over into everything you do. But done the wrong way, you'll spend months swinging a bell around and wonder why nothing is actually changing. The first mistake is one you can see in almost every gym, and it's the one that makes the swing look like it's working when it isn't. People grab the bell, pull it up with their arms, and wonder why their shoulders are sore and their hips feel nothing. Your arms aren't supposed to lift the bell. They're just the connection point between your hips and the weight. The power is supposed to come from your hips snapping forward, and your arms are along for the ride. And that distinction matters more than it might seem. When you drive the swing with your hips the way it's designed, you're loading your glutes, your hamstrings, and your entire posterior chain every single rep. That's what builds the kind of lower body power that makes you feel athletic and capable. Climbing stairs without your knees complaining, getting up off the floor without thinking about it, moving through your day with a body that doesn't feel like it's working against you. When you pull with your arms instead, none of that happens. You get tired shoulders and a swing that looks right, but delivers almost nothing. The fix is to think of your arms as ropes, loose, relaxed, connected to the bell but not doing the work. Hike the bell back between your legs, feel the tension load into your hamstrings, then drive your hips forward aggressively. The bell should feel like it floats up on its own, because when the hinge is working correctly, it will. And before we get into the next one, here's the thing. One of these mistakes coming up isn't just a swing problem. It's one of the most overlooked things in fitness, and you may be surprised when you hear it. But for now, we have to talk about the second mistake that I was honestly a victim to when I first started swinging. It's the reason so many people feel this exercise in the front of their legs instead of their glutes and hamstrings. And it's more common than you'd think. You set up, push your hips back, and somewhere on the way down your knees drift forward. Your torso stays upright, and the whole movement turns into a squat with a bell attached. It feels like a swing. It looks close enough, but your backside is barely involved, which means you're leaving most of the benefit on the table. And here's why that matters. When you fix the pattern and start loading your posterior chain the way this exercise is designed, you start rebuilding the kind of hip power that makes your body feel the way it did when you were younger. The stuff you used to do without thinking, moving fast when you needed to, throwing your back into something physical without worrying about it the next day, feeling genuinely strong in your lower half rather than just functional. That's what's on the other side of getting this right. The swing is a hinge. Your hips go back, not down. The difference is subtle, but it changes everything. When you push your hips back correctly, your hamstrings load up like a spring, and your glutes have to fire hard to snap you back to standing. That's where the power comes from. That's what makes the swing one of the most effective posterior chain exercises you can do. Think about that for a second. One movement, loaded and hinged correctly, training your glutes, hamstrings, lower back, and core all at the same time, but only if the pattern is right. To feel the hinge, stand about a foot in front of a wall and push your hips straight back until they touch it. Your chest should drop forward, your shins should stay close to vertical, and you should feel a deep pull in your hamstrings. That's the position you're looking for at the bottom of every swing. I want to let you guys in on one of my goals for FitZip. It's to help you move and feel the way you did 10 or 20 years ago. And one of the simplest ways to get there is by working the small stabilizer muscles that have been neglected for many years, or may have never even been worked before. That's exactly why I created the Reset Your Body Blueprint. It's a step-by-step guide focused on the mobility and stability moves that most regular workout programs never teach. And it's designed for people who want results that show up in real life, not just in the gym. If you want to check it out, scan the QR code on screen or click the link in the description below the video. Alright, let's get back to getting you the perfect kettlebell swing form. Here's something that separates people who get real results from swings from the ones who just get tired. The float at the top of the swing, that moment where the bell goes weightless and everything feels right, only happens if you earn it at the bottom. And most people never earn it because they're not actually loading the hinge on the way down. If your swings have ever felt like a grind, like you're muscling the bell up on every rep instead of it floating, this is exactly why. The difference between a swing that feels effortless and one that wears you down isn't fitness. It's whether or not you're using the elastic energy your hamstrings are capable of storing. What loading the hinge means is this. As the bell comes back down and swings between your legs, you hike it back actively and let your hamstrings stretch under tension. You're not just letting the bell fall, you're pulling it back, creating a slingshot effect that your hips then release on the way up. When that loading happens correctly, the top of the swing feels effortless. The bell floats, your hips snap and your body straightens, and for a moment the weight just hangs in the air. When it doesn't happen, you're grinding through every rep instead of flowing through them. Over time, that pattern beats up your lower back and caps your power output at a fraction of what it should be. And the frustrating part is, it doesn't feel obviously wrong in the moment. It just feels like the swing is hard, and you assume that's just how it is. The fix is simple. Focus on the hike back as its own deliberate action. The bell comes down. You hike it back hard between your legs, you feel your hamstrings load, and then you snap. That sequence, done with intention, is what makes the swing feel like the exercise it's supposed to be. This is the one I mentioned at the start, and it goes well beyond kettlebell swings. Breathing and bracing is the foundation underneath almost every demanding movement you'll ever do, and it's almost never taught. People have been working out for years without ever being shown how to do it correctly, and it's quietly limiting everything from how much they can lift to how well their lower back holds up over time. Not just in swings, in deadlifts, carries, squats, even something as simple as picking a heavy box up off the floor. The foundation is the same everywhere, and when it's missing, everything above it is compromised. Here's what's actually happening when you brace correctly. Before the bell moves, you take a breath into your belly, not your chest, and you brace your core like you're about to take a punch. That creates intra-abdominal pressure, which is essentially a column of stability running through your midsection. That column protects your spine, transfers power from your hips to the bell efficiently, and keeps your lower back from absorbing forces it was never designed to handle on its own. When you don't brace, your midsection goes soft at the exact moment it needs to be rigid. Your lower back ends up doing the job your core should be doing. And here's where it gets even deeper. That pattern doesn't just affect your training, it shows up in real life. The way your back feels after a long day on your feet. The way your body holds up when you're carrying something heavy across a parking lot. The way you feel getting out of bed the morning after a hard session. A properly braced core is the difference between a body that absorbs load well and one that slowly accumulates the kind of wear that sneaks up on you over years. When you nail the brace, you'll feel it immediately. More power out of every rep, more control at the top of the swing, and a lower back that feels supported instead of strained. It's one of those things that once you feel the difference, you can't unfeel it. And once you start applying it consistently, it quietly changes the quality of everything you do in the gym. There's one drill that exposes every single mistake we just covered, and it's called the dead stop swing. Instead of doing continuous reps, you swing the bell up, let it come back down, set it on the floor, reset your position completely, and then swing again. No momentum, no rhythm to lean on. Just you, the bell, and an honest setup from a dead stop every single rep. What it exposes is everything. If your hinge isn't loaded, the bell won't move well off the floor. If your arms are doing the lifting, you'll feel it immediately because there's no swing momentum to carry you through. If your brace isn't there at the start of each rep, your lower back will let you know. Most people are surprised by how much harder this version feels even with a lighter bell, and that's the point. The dead stop removes every compensation pattern you've been leaning on without realizing it, and what's left is an honest picture of where your swing actually stands. Do 3 to 4 sets of 5 reps this way, and you'll learn more about your swing in one session than you have in months of continuous reps. Once the pattern feels clean from a dead stop, carry it into your regular sets, and you'll feel the difference immediately. And if you want the full system that supports this kind of training from the ground up, the Reset Your Body Blueprint is linked in the description.